Presented locally by State Senator Lee Anderson, Hill Insurance, State Representative Alan Powell, Burrell's Law Office, Red Clay Properties, Suburban Propane, Purina of Hartwell, Adams Building Supply, Jeff Brown Country Financial Insurance, Tri-County Chevrolet, Lake Hartwell Contractors, and by Bonnie McDonald Remax Classic. Stay tuned as the Scoreboard Show begins right now.
What's going on, football fans? Welcome, everybody, to the Bonnie McDonald Remax Classic High School Football Scoreboard Show. I'm your host, Lee Blackwell. Joining me tonight, as always, is my dad, Coach Terry Blackwell. And answering the phones for us tonight is, of course, Tressa Blackwell. Number to call, 706-376-3363. 706-376-3363 to get on the air and tell us about the game that you went to tonight. We would like to know everything about it, how it went, and all that. Let's go ahead and get into some local scores that we have so far, and then we'll get some breakdown right here in just a moment. Of course, Region 8 AA is all off tonight. That is the region that includes Hart County, Stevens County, Franklin County, East Jackson, Hebron Christian, Prince Avenue Christian. They're all off tonight, so they'll get back in action next week. Region 8 Single A D1, Division 1. Been some upsets already tonight. And then we'll start with the first one. Rabun County traveled to Oglethorpe, and Oglethorpe comes away with the upset victory by a score of 28-19, moving Oglethorpe to 3-4 on the year, 1-2 in the region. And Rabun County drops their first game of the season, moving to 7-1 and 3-1 in the region. Elbert County travels to Banks County. Elbert County comes away with a victory by a score of 45-0, moving them to 4-4 on the year, 4-0 in the region. Banks County 0-7 on the year and 0-3 in the region. Athens Academy goes to Providence Christian and absolutely mollywops the Providence Christian by a score of 69-13. Moving Athens Academy to 7-1 on the season, 4-0 in the region, and Providence Christian drops to 1-6 and 0-3 on the region. And Dad, I tell you what, that's kind of some shocking scores there so far.
Oh yeah, it's understandable at this time of the year. Some teams start getting banged up a little bit, and talking specifically about Ravens because I watched some of that game and just looked like they were banged up and just kind of on the road and different atmosphere, and then got jumped on, and I don't think Oglethorpe ever trailed in that game. So hard fought win for Oglethorpe, just a typical mid-season lull. Athens Academy's on fire. Could it be now that Athens Academy and Elbert decide the region championship? If Rabun lets this one bad game turn into two, who knows? And see, they're still got to play Athens Academy. Maybe they beat them. Now they have to beat them. They have to beat them now. So maybe they beat them. Maybe they don't. I don't know. I mean, it's jumbled up. It sure has changed my prediction. I said all year that was Rabun and Athens Academy to decide. Well, Rabun may have helped decide part of it tonight. I don't know.
But to Rabun's fact, to their credit, everything is still in front of them. They take care of Elbert County, and they take care of Athens Academy. If they haven't played both of those yet, that wins them the region either way. So they still have everything in front of them. If it's like you said, they don't let this loss turn into two more losses.
See, that's the biggest scare that you have to have in football, is any sport, is that one loss that you did not go into expecting to lose, which you should never expect to lose. But if you really get shell-shocked, I think like they did tonight, do you let that turn into 2 losses? That's where the problem is. But now they got one of the longest-running, smartest coaches in the country. So not just Georgia, but I mean he knows what to do. So they'll be ready to go next week. I noticed tonight, and some of their broadcast people mentioned that Reed Giles, their do-it-all guy, had a knee brace on. Just banged up stuff. Now, they're not going to make that as an excuse for losing the game, but if a little bit of that explosion that some of their better players are just a little bit banged up, it makes a difference in the game, and then you go on the road, and then, like I say, first drive, Oglethorpe scores. Second drive, Rabun ties it. And about the third drive, this is the part I saw, they just Oglethorpe just streamed back down the field and kept throwing it over the top, and next thing you know, it's a ball game over.
Absolutely. Let's get on into some more local scores here. We'll move on down to Region 8 AAA. The Jefferson Dragons travel to East Hall, and they take care of business by a score of 54-0, moving Jefferson to 7-1 on the year, 3-0 in the region. East Hall drops to 2-6 on the year and 0-3 in the region. And another blowout in that region, Oconee County goes to West Hall and takes care of business as well, 49 for Oconee County and 0 for West Hall. Moving Oconee County to 6-2, who started off the year rocky. They were like 1-2 the first 3 games, something like that, but now they're 6-2, 3-0 in the region. And West Hall is 2-6 over the year and 0-3 in the region.
I still think this region in particular is going to be decided by the Oconee-Jefferson matchup whenever it happens. One's 6-2, one's 6-2, and one's 7-1. Both of you are 3-0 in the region, so the rest of them, Cherokee Bluff might play a role. Monroe area is pretty good club. It ain't 100%, but it's pretty much Jefferson and Oconee County the way I see it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one game that we don't have a score in that region right now is Cherokee Bluff at Monroe area. The last time I had a score, Monroe area was up late in the fourth quarter, but we'll wait for that to be final before we report the score. Let's go on and move down to Region 6, 3A. We only have one score in that one right now. It was Lumpkin County hosting Johnson, and of course, Johnson drops to 0-7 on the year, 0-4 in the region, because Lumpkin County beat them 49-0. So that's a pretty big mollywhopping there for Lumpkin County. And there's kind of a little bit of a factor in all these games. All these early games have kind of been lopsided games that probably had a running clock or something like that. That's why we've got these big lopsided scores so far. Moving to Region 8, 4A. This is a pretty big matchup here. Flowery Branch traveling to Madison County, and Madison County kind of been on their heels ever since they played Hart County. They've lost 2 or 3 games in a row there, and they got an off week last week. And Flowery Branch come into town, and Madison County off week when they needed it, got it, and they got the job done tonight by a score of 35-14 over Flowery Branch, moving Madison County to 4-3 on the year, 1-2 in the region. And Flowery Branch goes to 5-2 on the year, 2-1 as well in the region by a score of 35-14. And then here's a kind of surprising score, Daddy, is North Oconee goes to Eastside. North Oconee 14, Eastside 13. Very close game there. North Oconee 8-0, 4-0 on the year, and Eastside is 4-4 on the year and 2-2 in the region now.
Kind of makes you want to go, what? Yeah, that's a really odd score. I don't know what happened to North Oconee tonight, but they've been hot as a firecracker, and they got some players now. They got some really good players, and that's kind of a weird score, but you get on the road, you find a way to win. I'm telling you, on the road is tough. It is tough, and when you're top of your region, you last year state runner-up, state champion, whatever you are, you're going to get the best swing that other team has got every night out. So you got to be ready. And, North Oconee won in spite of having a bad night.
Absolutely. Some other scores that we have. Region 8, 5A. Clark Central went down to Loganville, and Clark Central took care of business 28-9. Sorry about that. Telephone ringing. Clark Central goes to 3-5 on the year, 2-2 in the region, and Loganville's 0-8 on the year and 0-4 in the region. One other score that's going on there: Alcovey was traveled to Habersham Central. It was over in the fourth quarter. Last score we got. We will see about that one later. Jackson County, Windoboro, and Appalachia are all off this week in that region and will play next week. Out of Region 2, AA, Morgan County, the team we're following, they are off this week. They're 7-0, 2-0 in the year. Got an off week this week. They travel to Jackson next week. Big game of the state, I would say. It's on the Georgia Public Broadcasting Network. Gainesville is at Milton. That's a big powerhouse there game that Gainesville took all their D1 prospects to Milton, who has one or two themselves, and they're probably having a pretty big battle there in Region 7 5A there, Daddy.
Yeah, it's I don't know how to. Milton was in the state championship last year. You know they're still loaded. Gainesville's like D1's running all over the field, so it's yeah. I don't know how to call that game. I really don't.
I don't either. Let's move to the upstate of South Carolina. Let's get some scores in. From them, we have one reported final so far, and that was Seneca in the Region 2 4A. Seneca went to Berea, who is also in Region 2 4A, and come away with a victory of 48-0. Seneca is 7-1 on the year, 3-1 in the region. Berea 1-6 on the year, 0-4 in the region. And Seneca's lone loss, Daddy, was a heartbreaking come from behind defeat by the hands of the D.W. Daniel Lions. And Seneca just hoping that somebody could possibly knock Daniel off and get him back to at least tied for a region championship there in that division.
Yeah, I thought going into that game it was pretty much Seneca. I mean, you know, they were on fire really and big time, and you know, Daniel at their place, you know, you never know what's going to happen.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and preview some stuff that we're going to get into tonight. We got more scores that we're going to have to get, but we'll go ahead and take us a quick break here in just a minute. But right before we do that, let's go ahead and talk about what we are going to talk about. I want to mention the new ranking system that's coming out for next year. They've kind of went away with the top four is going to make it top deal. And this is from top to bottom. This is not just, you know, the bottom three with the privates in it anymore. It's 7A all the way down to single A next year. Now this power ranking system, and we'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. We'll also talk about a few other things that I have in mind. We'll also get to the phones when we get back. We got a caller on the line that's looking to get on. We'll get him on. We'll talk to him for a few minutes, and then we'll move on to the next thing. We'll be back here in just a few moments on the Bonnie McDonald Remax Classic High School Football Scoreboard Show.
Hey football fans, this is Bonnie McDonald with the Sold Squad at Remax Classic. As a wife and mother of 5, I completely understand the importance of finding the perfect place to call home. It's my passion to help growing families plant their roots right here in our Bulldog Nation. So forget the stress of buying or selling a home, get in the game, and call Bonnie McDonald with Remax Classic at 706-982-4978.
From our family to yours, go Dogs!
Senator Lee Anderson and his family and staff are proud to serve the great people in the 24th District of the Senate of Georgia, consisting of Hart, Elbert, Lincoln, Oglethorpe, Tolliver, Wilkes, Richmond, and Columbia counties. He is also proud to support all area high school athletics. If you ever have a concern, you are welcome to contact Senator Lee Anderson by calling his office at 404-656-5114 or email him at lee.anderson@senate.ga.gov.
At Hill Insurance, we are a family-owned business So we take pride in helping families with their insurance needs. We provide insurance solutions to the residents and business owners in Georgia, representing many insurance companies to best meet your needs for home, auto, boat, and general liabilities at the best possible prices. Call Matthew Hill or Morris Cleveland for a quote at 706-717-3125 or stop by our office at 161 East Howell Street in Hartwell. That's Hill Insurance.
Suburban Propane, formerly Drake Gas, invites you to join the Suburban Propane family. That means you'll receive the same great service from employees you know and trust, still serving you from Royston, Hartwell, Elberton, and Lexington. Plus, you'll enjoy easy payment plans, online account access, and emergency support. Now is the best time to call and take advantage of our fall fill-up and tank installation specials. Call us today at 706-245-6111. That's 706-245-6111.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Bonnie McDonald Remax Classic High School Football Scoreboard Show. I'm your host, Lee Blackwell. Joining alongside of me is my dad, Coach Terry Blackwell. And answering the phones for us tonight is Tressa Blackwell. And speaking of the phones, let's go to the phones and bring in Coach Brooks Mewburn. Coach Mewburn, we appreciate you calling in tonight.
Good evening, guys. How y'all doing tonight?
We're doing great. We're doing great. So what's it like for an administrator or a coach or something like that when your team is off on a Friday night? Is it, as a coach, are you itching? Are you wishing you're out on the field? Are you, as administrator, are you wishing you're taking up money at the gate? Or are you just glad to have a night off?
Well, I think as a coach, you always look forward to that open week, trying to get reconnected, with family, give kids a couple of days off, give your staff a couple of days off, and try to take a break from Sunday. And so it's good to get away from the game. And, the open weeks, now that you play week 0, you really get, 2 bye weeks. If you play week 1, you only get 1. But it's always nice to kind of get that recharge and that refresh mid-season before you get the stretch run to finish out the season.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Coach. I didn't necessarily like him as a coach because it seemed like forever. If you lost the game before a time off, it wasn't way good. But if you won, it was good. You can work on the good stuff and get everything worked back together. And you've been there as much as I have. And I just think it's important maybe for Hart County to get healed a little bit, get their feet back under them, and get ready to go. This next 3-game run is critical.